Hey, what's up, guys? Here on the Fire Sports Pod, where everything we got is hot. I'm your host, Zach Jackson, here with my guest host and great friend of mine, Billy Pinkley. I appreciate him coming on and jumping on the podcast yet again. We haven't had him on in a long time. It's a long time coming, so I'm happy to have him on. So thanks again, Billy, for jumping on.
No, I appreciate it, Zach. Thank you for having me. It's always good catching up with you, and I know we have a lot of baseball to talk about today. So let's
Yes,
get
sir.
to it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, guys, like always, we're powered by StreamYard, where StreamYard makes the dream yard go. And then on top of that, this is season 4, episode number 34. We're one episode away from season 5. So, recap Monday. Next week will be our last episode of season 4. Can't believe it's already been 4 seasons about to be over. So, let's get right into it. We got a big show for baseball. We're going to first start. I got to get my boy Billy's take on our closer for the Yankees and Clay Holmes.
Yeah, no, he's a good guy and he's a good pitcher, but in the closer role, I think it's time to definitely not necessarily move on from him completely, but just say maybe we have a couple other options for that ninth inning. And it looks like the Yankees are going to do that, where they have a closer by committee, where, okay, this matchup for this game, we'll go with Tommy Kahnle. Or this game, this matchup, maybe Kahnle threw twice in a row, we'll go with Weaver to close out the game. So they're going to have a few options like that. And maybe it will make sense for Clay Holmes to close out some games, but they're going to be a little bit more tailored to the individual matchups and not giving him all of those closing opportunities. So it's unfortunate it's gotten to this point with many blown saves. And it's interesting because he was an all-star this year too. So it's crazy how things work, but he's in the past had stretches like this and outings where just kind of was inconsistent for him, but then he's found it again. So hopefully he works a couple things out and then he's good to go for the playoffs and he's in a really good spot. So then even if he doesn't close out games in the postseason, he could be a very dominant guy in maybe the 7th or 8th.
Yeah. I like that Boone has come to his senses. I've been waiting for him to say this on a post game or preview of what's to come. I think playoffs coming down the line, like you said, Billy. I think we definitely need to make a change. The one that threw it overboard was definitely that last one against Texas, where we had a 4-3 lead going into that bottom of the 9th inning. And I love the Yankees, but I even called it. I was like, all right, Clay Holmes is coming up. If I'm saying that, that's a problem. That we're basically done. The game's over. And he grand slammed the damn thing. But he started off really well. He got a first out, 3 pitches. He started off well, and then everything collapsed. So I don't really know. I don't know if it's the media that's getting to him. I don't know, but he looks very out of place, inconsistent, and his pitches are not the same.
Yeah, the sinker didn't look as sharp, and obviously it's tough to be consistent as a pitcher, a tall guy, and just execute your pitches. It's not an easy thing to do throughout the whole entire season. And a little thing that's off, maybe your release is off, you're speeding up a little bit too quickly for whatever reason, that can really be dangerous sometimes. And we saw it in that case and in quite a few games this year where he just got out of rhythm. And hopefully he's able to find that consistency. And no one was better than Mariano Rivera with that consistency. And we miss him a whole lot.
Oh yeah. Well, I think I'll take him at whatever age he's at right now, coming out of retirement. But since you were a pitcher in college and played basically baseball, do you see anything? Like, do you look at any, obviously you're looking through a TV, but any type of thing that you might have seen that maybe is a cause for concern, or is it just really just mental?
Yeah, I don't think it's anything too crazy. I feel like just from seeing him spike a ball and then throw one high, there's definitely a little bit of probably a tempo issue or something mechanical where he needs to get in a little bit more sync. And sometimes that takes watching video and trying to watch old video of when you did succeed and try to see, okay, how did I feel in this moment? Why did my body kind of go in a different direction? Is my arm too far? Is it dragging? Trying to figure out what caused the mechanical issues. And that's what I think it is for him. And then if you're all of a sudden spiking balls and then you're missing the zone, then that will get to you mentally more easily than it would if you were throwing consistent strikes. So that could be what happened too, but I don't think he gets rattled too easily. I think he's pretty even keeled guy. So I feel like we'd see that more with some other guys who might be a little bit more, different a little different
Yeah,
upstairs, but
off.
yeah, a little off. But no, I feel like it's definitely a little bit of a mechanical thing, and he just needs to get in sync and figure out his rhythm again, and see maybe in certain situations he just went too quickly and delivered the ball a little bit too fast.
Gotcha. Now, do you think like obviously the pitch count they give them enough time, but do you think that has maybe something to do with it, or it's really just mechanical? He really just got to hone in on his mechanics and his fundamentals and really get back to just fundamental baseball.
Yeah, it's a good question because it does speed you up, and if you're moving too quickly, your mechanics, you look at all the reasons, the potential reasons why, and maybe the pitch clock, that's a reason to move more quickly for sure. But honestly, we've had the whole season now, and even last year to get acclimated to it. So I don't think that should be an excuse for him.
Especially
So
a veteran like he is.
yeah, he's been around and he's someone who has had success with the
Yeah.
pitch clock. So I wouldn't just blame it on that because of a few bad outings that he's had. I'd say it's more of a mechanical thing. I'm sure it might not be something that helps, but I wouldn't say it's something that completely has hurt him.
Now, do you think like he's gonna go on a like one? You know how so Gill's back. He's pitching tonight against the Cubs in Chicago. So Gill's back from the injury. But he was on a really bad one. He was supposed to be a potential All Star. He was 9-1, and then he had 4 really bad games, and then one good game, and then he was 10-5, and now he's 12-6. So now obviously there's two. The last two that he lost were because of us, and we couldn't give him any runs. But nonetheless, do you see similar things, or you thought like maybe Gill was just completely off and he just really needed to like reset? Now, is this more of just like since Gill's more of a rookie, a second-year guy, not really been in the big leagues for that long, but Clay Holmes has been there as a veteran, so you really strictly think that he just gotta hone in on the fundamentals, fix his like go back to the reset, go back to the basics and everything. So you don't see like maybe like a Gill type of situation where it rattles on for like games on end, on end, on end.
Yeah, I hope not. I don't think so. I think it's good for Luis Hill because of the how many pitches he's thrown this year, how many innings, and considering he didn't pitch last year, it's definitely pretty valuable. I think for him to have taken some time off,
Yeah,
heading up to now the last month of the season and the postseason. But I feel like with him, maybe he was dealing with some injuries, some things nagging him that we didn't even know about. That
yeah,
maybe either was the injury that he went on the DL for earlier, or it was something completely different and he just didn't say anything about it. You never know because you
yeah.
never know what happens behind closed doors. Fans sometimes have no clue and they sometimes never find out unless they talk about it themselves when they retire or in
The
the off
season
season you
ends.
find out
Yeah,
about something that happened. But yeah, it's an interesting point. I'm not really sure. I think Luis Heel he's an emotional guy, and you could tell sometimes if things don't go his way on the mound, he can easily be impacted by it. And sometimes if you work up like we saw the other day, I believe it was Stroman had a lot of pitches in the first couple innings.
yeah,
Uh, you know, if you're they're called stress pitches when you're throwing so many pitches in a short amount of time in higher leverage situations.
mm,
Those if you have a lot of innings like that and a lot of those 3-2 counts and you're battling and long innings, that can also eat at you. So even if you throw more pitches, if you have less pitches but more of them are in higher leverage spots, that can eat on you. So it's really difficult to say, but I think they're two unique cases.
gotcha. Okay, all right. Well, so obviously we know the Clay Holmes. Obviously, I know you can't really go into detail on how you truly feel as a Yankee fan because we got other stuff we got to worry about. But now, for Clay Holmes in general, do you think he will get those starts? The last question before we move on to our next segment: do you think he'll get those starts in those playoffs, or are we like completely going off of him for that closing out in the playoffs?
I don't think it's completely out of the equation. I feel like it'll be based on the situation. And if he shoves in the rest of the games that he's in through September, then maybe you will see him in high leverage spots in the ninth inning. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be scared if it happens, but you also have a couple other guys in the back end of the bullpen who can throw quality innings. I feel like Tommy Kahnle has the most experience. He's been around. He's a
I love King.
older veteran, and he's done really well this year. So I'd say he's probably the number one candidate for the closing role, and we'll see if they decide to go with him. I'd say if the Yankees need a guy to close out the game tonight, it's going to be Tommy Kahnle.
I like that. I like that. Now Weaver, he was the rookie that was supposed to be the starting pitcher, but he had like really bad outings, and now he's moved to the bullpen.
Weaver's been around for a while. He was with the Cardinals. He came up with the Cardinals, I believe, and he's bounced around to a few teams. But now he's found a nice little niche in the Yankees pen as kind of like a middle reliever where he could throw a couple innings.
I think I'm thinking of somebody else. There's
Yeah.
a rookie guy that we just got that we brought him up about a month and a half ago, and he made his debut, did pretty well, and then he came back and gave up like 10 runs.
Probably Will Warren.
Oh, Warren. Okay.
Yeah.
That's right. All right.
He's a great prospect, and he's a good pitcher. Just he hasn't been able to throw quality innings at the big league level yet. So we'll see. Hopefully.
That's what was my confusion, because I was thinking Warren was Weaver, Weaver was Warren.
Hey, you got the W. You got the W.
Yeah, exactly. But we'll move to our second segment. Now we're going to go into some playoff predictions. I know we still got 22 games. We've got about a month left, but it's coming quick. So summer's over. September's coming. The leaves are falling. So before we know it, October's going to be here, and we're going to be talking about playoff baseball. So where do you see? Just let's start with our Yankees. Where do you see us Yankees finishing out? Do you think we get over the 100 games win? Obviously, that would mean that we'd need to win 18 out of 20 to get 100 wins, because we're 60. So
I think they could get to 90. I don't think 100. 100's a little bit, I think, too much.
Okay.
If they won games that they should have won, then yes.
Yeah, obviously.
But they lost some really harsh games this year that they really just gave away.
Yeah.
But I'd say the Yankees are in a good spot to win 90, and that would be a good year. That'd be a good year to finish the year strong.
Yeah, last year, pretty bad one. Now, do you think we have any shot about maybe going far, or are we capping off after the second series?
Well, I really wish I had a crystal ball. I really do. I mean, I think this is the closest right here that I have to a crystal ball.
Okay.
And we got Derek Jeter inside of that. But
that's awesome.
But I think it's going to be tough to see. I feel like obviously with the division, it's going to come down to the Yankees and Orioles going back and forth. It's like a seesaw throughout the last half of the year here, and trying to see who's going to end the year in first, and that's going to depend on who we play. And if the Yankees end up winning the division, then they have that first series off, the wild card series, and that'll help them, put them in a better position to rest up. But it's tougher because if you have a wild card series, then you got to face somebody else, and then you're going to face another team. So it's another layer of playoffs. So it really depends. Depends how banged up they are. And then if you're banged up and then you got to play a wild card series, it's only going to hurt you, because then you have to fight through another series and not have as much of a break.
Yeah, same thing as the play-in tournament for the NBA.
Yeah.
If you're like the 8th and the 9th or the 10th seed, you got to play like 2 games before you even get to the first series of the playoffs.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, like I said, I didn't jinx when we started out really good. I said let's not jinx ourselves, and then obviously they panned out and they went mediocre, and then they picked it up. But they've just been very inconsistent. Judge has been having an MVP year. He's been a little quiet of late over the last couple games, but nonetheless, I mean, he's still got 23 games, and I think he's got 52 home runs or something like that.
Yeah. We can't expect him to hit 62 every year, and but he's done a fantastic job. And we'll see. Well, he could have a 3-homer game tonight. You don't know what could happen. It's crazy how baseball works.
It is against the Cubs, so we never know.
You never know. I feel like Rizzo might go yard, go into his former.
That would be nice.
Right,
he just came back too. I've been waiting for Rizzo to come back. I didn't realize how long he's been out. He's been out for a while.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah,
you can't catch a break.
Nah, he's just after his Cub, like when they won the World Series with Anthony Rizzo, right?
They did.
Yeah, so I think right after that he had like 1 year or 2 years, and then like it's been like injury or inconsistency And it sucks because like he has good years and then like an injury hits him and then he can't come back from it.
And it's tough too
Yeah.
because it's not a couple of those injuries are not things that he could have avoided. It's just like
He just
Tatis diving back to the bag or running down the baseline, like stupid things like that. That it's not like he's pulling a muscle.
yeah,
It's like
exactly. Like
concussion
Stanton.
stuff and broken bones.
Yeah. I mean Stanton, we already discussed about Stanton, but he came back and we'll see how long he stays in the lineup. But
Yeah.
I think now a little pivot question. Do you think Stanton stays after this year?
It's a good question. I feel like he has more value now than he did last year because of the year he's having. He's having a much better year, healthier
He didn't
year.
get hurt. If he didn't get hurt, just imagine.
He only pulled a hammy once. He was on the IL for a short time, not too long.
Yeah.
So overall, he's done pretty, decently well. Not obviously not the kind of guy we traded for, but
Yeah.
still decent. And I don't know. It's tough. Who would take the contract? What percentage of it would you have to eat if you're the Yankees? And who would he accept the trade to? Would he go over to LA, the Angels, and will they take him? Would they want him? I feel like there's only a couple homes he could possibly land in, and I don't know. It has to be a really good situation. The Yankees would probably have to eat some dollars, and he'd
And
have
wouldn't
to
that
accept
open
it.
up for Soto?
What was that?
Wouldn't that open it up for Soto to re-sign Soto if we do let go of Stanton?
Well, it depends on how much of the contract the other team would pay.
Okay.
So that's the problem because he's got a big contract and a no trade clause. So those are two things you got to love if you're a player, but hate if you're a fan or somebody in the front office if you're looking to move them. So that's difficult. But yeah, they got to find the dollars to sign Soto. Maybe they'll jack up the price of a hot dog by a couple dollars.
He's got to stay.
Yeah.
He's got to stay. Everyone loves him in New York. I love him in New York. I wasn't really a Juan Soto fan. I liked the way he played the game, but I really didn't pay attention so much to him. But now he's on the Yankees. I'm like, he's actually a really good dude. He looks like a cool guy to be around.
Oh, he looks fantastic in pinstripes.
Have you ever met him?
I never met him, but I feel like I have.
Yeah. Well, now out of the Yankees, who have you met?
Oh boy, let's see. I met obviously Oswaldo Cabrera, Jose Trevino. Let's see if we go on the roster. Ron Marinaccio.
Wow. Okay.
And I interviewed him on Zoom a couple years ago before he made it to the big leagues. Right before he made it.
That's awesome.
He was great. Let's see. I met. Let's see. Not Weaver. I feel like is a great guy.
Oh, but you haven't met him?
Austin. No, I never met him. Austin Wells, I got an autograph of when I was a little bit younger. Same thing with Volpe. Actually, I met Volpe. I have a picture of Volpe briefly. I saw him. And I think, and Gleyber Torres back in Double-A. This had to be maybe 2017, 16, 17, around there.
16, yeah, I think. Because I think he came in.
He came up then. And I think that's probably it on the Yankees.
I think you've met a lot of people that no one has met.
Yeah, we got it. There's still more. We gotta meet some more guys. But
Aaron
it takes
Judge.
time.
Aaron
I
Judge.
did meet Judge. How did I forget Judge?
Of all the people,
I forgot. Let me see. I gotta.
Oh, that's funny.
Let me show you this real quick. Here we got.
That is funny.
This is the OG picture with Judge on June 20th of 2016.
Oh wow!
Look at that right there.
Awesome. Man, he's huge.
Legendary. Yeah, he was big. I was a little smaller then, but
yeah. Hey, so now I would think that my viewers would like to know how does Billy the Bat Boy get these guys to jump on, or like does he like email them? Like what's your secret? Unless you want to keep it under disclosed.
I don't think there aren't many secrets. I feel like a lot of it was just building up over time, a reputation and a brand, and going to events, asking to talk to them after events or during the event, different book signings or autograph signings, hanging around, talking to people who are there, DMing people, trying to reach out any way I can. I feel like those are the common things you think of, and that's really it. And sometimes it'll work, sometimes it doesn't work. The percentage is very low of people who respond because everyone's so busy and everyone has a lot of commitments. So it can be difficult sometimes to lock people in. But if you have a certain mission or goal, I feel like it's more easily acceptable by them to want to do it. If, for example, a lot of my content is designed to help out youth athletes, players are more inclined to help that cause and join and talk to me about those topics because they feel it's also important and they would want to help young kids as well. So it depends on the situation. Some guys don't even see their messages, and some guys do, and then they won't really respond or put it off. But it
Yeah,
really depends. So
gotcha. All right,
you just gotta go for it.
I appreciate the knowledge. Thank you very
Yes,
much.
sir.
Now the last one before you go, Shohei Ohtani or Aaron Judge for MVP.
Wow. Well, those are two good guys, and I mean, we know that. We got the AL MVP in Judge, and then the NL and Ohtani. So
But who would you take if you needed to build? Like for me, it's very hard for me to say because I love Judge, but Shohei Ohtani does both. But Judge does everything very well, very put
yeah,
together. And I don't know.
I'd probably, if you had to give me this year, I'd say Ohtani.
Really
Even though
because
Judge is doing
40,
absolutely
40,
phenomenal,
40
I would have taken Judge though back when him and Ohtani were in that race during the 62 homer year.
2 years ago.
So yeah, a couple years ago. So I would have taken Judge then, but this year I'll give it to Ohtani. I'd say he's the guy.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. I'm gonna flip. I'm gonna go with Judge.
Okay.
Even though I respect the hell out of a person that can do 40 and 40,
Yeah,
that hasn't been done, which is absolutely crazy to even think about 40. What is it? 40 home runs and then 40 stolen bases, right?
that's right.
That's ridiculous. That's
It's
ridiculous.
unbelievable.
So if I would have to build a team around somebody, since he does pitch, he does steal bases. Judge steals bases, but not at that
Yeah.
rate. And he hits the home run ball. I would take Shohei Ohtani. But if I want a monster, a slugger, a guy that's going to do everything, going to be the captain of the team, I would have to go with Judge. You don't really can go wrong with either of them. And
No,
that's the good thing about both of them.
you can't.
Now,
Two solid guys right there. It's unbelievable what they're doing.
now, do you think there is maybe a third guy in this race? Could a Lindor, because I'm thinking Lindor, even though I'm a Yankees fan, I don't despise the Mets, but Lindor's been really kicking it, and the Mets are 12 games above 500. They're playing the Reds tonight in a series. They look like they could take 3 straight, and that puts them in almost basically right behind us. So
Yeah, it's crazy because Lindor didn't even make it to the All-Star game this year.
I
And
know that's
he
why
got
I'm like,
snubbed from
damn.
that for sure. But I think Bobby Witt Jr. is another guy who is putting up a fight. He's done
He was in the
extremely
home run
well
derby.
for the Royals. Yeah, he's done a great job this year, hitting really, really well. So I'd say he might be in the top of the race for AL MVP, but with Judge in his season, I don't know about that.
Okay. So they don't have. I wish they had like how they have like in football they have offensive player of the year, defensive player of the year, and then they have MVP.
Right.
I wish the MLB did that. Like you have your conference league MVP, and then you have the entire league MVP. Because I think
Yeah.
that would be a hell of a race if they had.
Yeah, it would be. It would be. It's really interesting. I feel like I wouldn't be surprised if they make some of those decisions in the future because even with the pitchers, wins and losses are a little bit skewed now. It's a little bit different than it used to be because of pitchers not going as deep, and you're going to give a pitcher a loss if he gave up 1 run and the offense just did not hit. So those stats could be a little skewed, and I feel like maybe they're going to make some of those adjustments at some point. But yeah, another award would be interesting. You never know if they do that.
Yeah, we pitch good ideas. I think.
Yeah,
I
you got to make a video about it, man.
Yeah.
Post it.
I'm gonna do it right after this and be
Let's
like,
go.
yo, MLB, you guys got to put in the actual MVP of the entire 2 conferences because I think it would add more. I think it would add more of I wouldn't say want, but it would add more of a competitiveness. You would add, not to mention the decision making. Maybe you can make the fans decide or your peers. Like the Olympics, they did the peers who was the best player on Team USA. All the peers, all the teammates said LeBron,
Right.
for obvious reasons. Like some things like that, and you could pitch it that way, and maybe we can try to maneuver that. But obviously, we're here right now. Maybe in the future we can try to we will maybe be in position to make those decisions. Hopefully.
Yeah. And when it happens, you could go back to this show and say, hey, I was the first one to come up with this.
Exactly. So, but yeah, no, I appreciate Billy for coming on. But you're saying you're taking Shohei Ohtani overall. If we did have a MVP type of season of both conferences, you'll take Shohei Ohtani this year.
I believe this year I would.
Gotcha. Okay, I'm taking Aaron Judge. I'm gonna go the opposite route. I'm taking Aaron Judge.
That's fine. Still a good choice.
Exactly. But Billy, I appreciate you jumping on here on the Fire Sports Pod. I'm actually going to stay on. I'm going to do some NFL segments, so I got to get into that. But I appreciate you jumping on, and I will see you very soon. So I appreciate
Absolutely
everything. All right, man.
Thank you, Zach. Appreciate you having me.
Anytime. Peace.
All right.
All right, guys. So Billy just jumped off. We're going to take a quick break, and we're going to go into some NFL news and some talks. We got to get to what's happening this coming Sunday. We got some NFL going crazy today with Green Bay Packers playing against the Philadelphia Eagles in Brazil. We're taking the Packers to get the win. Got them going and covering the -2.5 spread. And I'm going to go with the under. I'm going to go with the over of 48.5. I believe the spread is. I'm going to double check that when we get back from our break. So let's go Packers tonight. Even though I hate the Eagles and the Packers cannot go for my division rival in the Eagles. So I'm going to take the Packers winning this game. So we'll be right back. But again, thanks for Billy to jumping on. It was a great 3 segments. And now we get some NFL talk. All right, guys, we are back on the show. We're going to be going over the NFL schedule for this coming weekend on Sunday. Let's get over all the games that we got. So here we go, guys. We're going to share our screen right here, and we're going to let you guys know who we picking for each of the games. So here we go. So let's start with, we already told you the Green Bay. We're taking Green Bay to win the game. Now here we go. Now this is what we're looking at right here. So first up, if you guys are seeing some things, my dog is going nuts in the background. We have Arizona taking on Buffalo in Buffalo. I think Josh Allen, being the type of quarterback he is, I don't think they drop the first game in Buffalo. It's at 1 p.m. Eastern time. I think Buffalo takes the win here. So I'm taking Buffalo winning this game. Carolina gets the New Orleans Saints. Definitely taking the Saints winning this game at 1 p.m. Eastern time on Fox. The Houston Texans versus the Indianapolis Colts. I'm going to take the Houston Texans winning this game in Indy to start off the season 1-0 at 1 p.m. Eastern time on CBS. Then Jacksonville against Miami in Miami. I'm going to take Miami getting the win at 1 p.m. Eastern time. So we got Buffalo winning, New Orleans winning, Houston winning, Miami winning. Minnesota against the Giants. Fuck the Giants. Minnesota's winning that game. So we're taking Minnesota, Miami, Houston, New Orleans, Buffalo. New England against Cincinnati. Joe Burrow's going to demolish New England. Pittsburgh against Atlanta. This is a pretty good game. This is going to be a very competitive game. But I'm taking Atlanta with the win at home. I think home field advantage is going to be big this year. And then we move to our next games that we have this coming Sunday and Monday. You have the Tennessee Titans taking on the Chicago Bears in Chicago at 1 p.m. Eastern time. I'm gonna take the Chicago Bears getting the first win of the season against Tennessee. I think they do, and they do some good stuff. Tennessee pretty much sucks. Let's go for Keenan Allen. I got him on my fantasy team. Hopefully he absolutely kills them this year or this game. Then you got Denver at Seattle. Denver's a mess. I'm taking Seattle with home field advantage and just a better quarterback in Geno Smith. Las Vegas against the Chargers. Chargers are just demolishing the Vegas Raiders. And then you got my Cowboys taking on Cleveland in prime time, 4:25 p.m. Eastern time on Fox. I'm going to take my Cowboys winning this game against Cleveland. I think this is going to be a tough game. It's in Cleveland. It's going to be a real tough game, but I'm taking Dallas winning the first game of the season at 4:25 on Sunday. Washington at Tampa Bay. This is a little bit of a toss-up, but I think Washington with the rookie quarterback. If he had some games under him, I would like to see them play this matchup weeks in ahead. I would take the Washington Commanders with the win, but I'm taking Tampa Bay with the win here. Now, Sunday Night Football is going to be a gem of a matchup. You got the LA Rams taking on the Detroit Lions at 8:20 p.m. Eastern Time on NBC in Detroit. Detroit coming off that terrible loss in Santa Clara against the 49ers last year to go to the Super Bowl. LA Rams, I'm taking Detroit, man. I think because we had this matchup, Detroit beat LA to get to the 49ers game. Actually, I'm gonna go with it. I'm gonna go with an upset. I'm gonna stick with because if this is an upset, then the 49ers is gonna kill the Jets. So I'm gonna take Detroit winning this game at Ford Field at their home field. I don't think they dropped the first game of the season. We move to Monday Night Football. What a game to kick off Monday Night Football. The New York Jets travel to Santa Clara to take on the 49ers at 8:15 p.m. Eastern Time on ABC. I can never go for the 49ers. I love the Jets unless they're playing my Cowboys. So let's go Jets. Jets. Jets, Jets, Jets. They're taking down the San Francisco 49ers in Santa Clara to start 1-0 in the season. I think Aaron Rodgers has a big day. And I think Brees Hall goes off. So let's go Jets. Other than that, guys, that's pretty much it. We went over the NFL schedule. Let's actually look what's popping in college football before we go. See any big games that we might go and give you guys some thoughts about and where we think we're going with our picks. So let's see. So let us see with week 2. You have Georgia Tech taking on Syracuse. I'm taking Georgia Tech winning that game. Number 3, Texas versus number 10, Michigan, tomorrow at 12. Now, that's going to be a hell of a game. I would definitely say that Michigan will take the dub. And I don't know. I didn't like the way Michigan looked, so I'm taking Texas with the win for that game. Oklahoma State against Arkansas. I'm taking Oklahoma State winning that game. Kansas State versus Tulane, number 17. I'm taking Kansas State with the win. Penn State. I'm taking Penn State with the win. There's not really some top 10 matchups here. Tennessee versus NC State, 14 versus 24. I'm going to take number 14, Tennessee, with the win. My Ohio State Buckeyes play against WMU. I'm taking Ohio State with the dub. But yeah, there's really not some big monster games, guys. There's really some shitty matchups. We only got maybe 3 good games. Texas and Michigan's going to be a hell of a game. That's 1. Tennessee, NC State's going to be a hell of a game. That's 2. And that's really much it, guys. There's really not anything really else going on in the world of college football. Everything else is kind of eh. So I would say those 2 are the best ones to take a look at. But other than that, guys, that's pretty much it. Like I said, guys, we have Billy onto our show. We went over some MLB content with the Clay Holmes situation with the Yankees. We went over some different teams that maybe will make a playoff push. The Yankees definitely, of course. We also went over any who will be the eventual MVP, and if there was an MVP of the whole entire MLB, who would we take? Then Billy topped off, and then we started going over who we have in the NFL this coming weekend on Sunday. Who are my picks? So I got you guys with those picks, and then college football for tomorrow. Other than that, guys, that's pretty much it for my show here on the Fire Sports Pod, where everything we got is hot. I'm your host, Zach Jackson. Appreciate all the support. This, again, is Season 4, Episode number 34 on the Fire Sports Pod, powered by StreamYard, where StreamYard makes the dream yard go. I will see you guys on Recap Monday where we go over what happened over the weekend. We got a lot to get to on Recap Monday, so I'll catch you guys then. Peace out. Have a great rest of your weekend. Enjoy football, man. Football's back. Let's go. All right, guys. Peace out.